Are we in the middle of a crash, crypto crash, or is this just a minor correction? What's going on here? All right, let's look at the bubbles. We did a Bitcoin drop down a bit. It had dropped down to below 95,000 here. And then everything else started to reset, but it looks like it has bounced back a bit. Because SUI, which was one that had been running nicely here, had dropped, and now it's continued to reset here and catch back up. And as you see, you got a lot of them running again. You got Phantom up pretty good, IOTA, Ondo. There's Sandbox is even running. It's been running the last few days, which is surprising. I'm not sure if there's news in on Sandbox yet, because usually the metaverse stuff has not been moving recently. No Decentraland or Sandbox. But I think with the whole crypto market being up, things are just moving up in general, but everything doesn't move together. But are we in the middle of a crash? That is the real question. And is this something to be worried about? Should you be selling and taking profits? And the quick answer to that is yes, you should take profits. Depending on when you bought, or depending on what your entry level was, you should have preset numbers that you're taking profits on. You don't want to round trip your bags. I've been in this for 3 cycles now, and I've round tripped my bags both times. and there's opportunities for huge gains, especially in the second cycle I was in, and I did not take too much off the table. And that was a mistake, but I want to make sure nobody else makes that same mistake that I made in the past. So how do you go about doing that? How do you go about avoiding round tripping your bags? Well, first thing you got to do is set sale prices. So for instance, my average purchase price in XRP is about 22 cents from the first cycle and about 35 cents this past cycle. So entry points are low, and it had run up to around 285 or so. So it got close to the point where I was going to start taking profits. For me, I'm going to probably do it in the 3s because I really do feel it's going to go to somewhere between that 7, 8, and 10. Probably set between somewhere between $7 and $10. It will hit this cycle. It depends on just how heated up it gets here. Cardano, very similar. I think most of my entry points are around 17 cents in Cardano, some at 8 cents, some at 30 cents. And that one could get up to 5 to 7, maybe even $8 this cycle here. So it depends on what your price point is, right? If you just picked up, say, Theta at 250, you might want to set up an exit at $5, right? That you doubled your money. That's your first. So you say you take 3 different exit points. You're going to take, or even 4, right? You want to take 25% your first time, 25, 25, and 25. Or if you want to make sure and be a little bit safer, you might want to do it in thirds and do 33%, 33%, 33% of what you think it's going to get to. Say you think it's going to get $7, take 65% of that and then go to 75, then go to 85, because you don't want to get caught. Now, if you feel like it's heating up and it's going a little higher than your numbers you anticipated, well, then it makes sense to wait on that last sale of your whatever that crypto is you're looking at there. But your entry point is the biggest thing, right? You don't want to round trip your bags. If you're doubling, tripling, quadrupling your money, take some off the table. Maybe let's say you put 25,000 in and you've built your portfolio up to 75,000. Why don't you take 25,000 out, right? Now you're into it for nothing and it's all gravy. So now it's all house money that you're playing with. And then as it continues to go up, take some more profits and then reinvest later on when we go to the bear market. You want to really be buying in the bear market when it's down, like we've had for the last 3.5 years, and selling as this goes up here. So the anticipation is that we're going to be in a very strong bull market, and it's going to go through pretty far into 2025, assuming we have no black swan events, right? Like increase in war, different things that could, huge economic woes somewhere in the world, maybe in the United States, maybe in Europe. So those are things that could affect it. But knowing that more regulation is going to be coming in because of the new incoming administration, who is very friendly to crypto, going to put very friendly crypto people in place in different positions between the SEC and economic people, that's going to help quite a bit. So these are things to consider. So, which means we should go well into the third quarter, perhaps even to the fourth quarter of 2025 before we get our correction. For those of you that are new to crypto, usually Bitcoin is the first one to make, it's the first one to go up, and the altcoins follow it, obviously. So let's go to the Bitcoin chart. And if we look at Bitcoin over the last 5 years, so let's go to 2021 and kind of count peaks. So you got 2021, it started here in September of, this is the 6th of September at around 10.3. Then you get a peak here up to 38,000, little correction down to 32. That's normal, right? So, we got up to 99.8, and then we went down to 93, 94. Normal, healthy, comes back up, another peak here. You're up to 48. Then you have a big correction down to, well, it's not that big, down to 45. And then back up to 58, a little bit down, chops, gets near 60, gets near 60 again, and drops all the way down to 34 on bad news and FUD in 2021. And then, up a little, down more, down to 31. These are substantial drops. That's not typical. But that's when some of the altcoins will typically run. Bitcoin loses dominance, but then it goes up again, up to 51 and down to 47, and then shoots up to 65.5 in November. This is when it's hit its high. And this is when the analyst that I follow, the technical analyst, Marty Hibbs, said, it looks overbought. It looks like it's done and it's time to sell. So this would have been the time to sell this. And then you see Bitcoin drop. And what happened during that time frame is the altcoins started to really take off. You get that blow off top from the altcoins. So I'd shifted and sold some of my Bitcoin, turned it into Theta. Theta skyrocketed. Theta and Theta Fuel, they went from like 50 cents to $16. Theta did in a very short period of time. And then Theta Fuel, as a matter of fact, let's go look at that here. If we go to the chart and look at the same 5-year time period. So you go into that and you will see in January, this is where I entered in a Theta under $1 here, probably somewhere around here, and then a little bit more in here. And then you get to February, it's 357. And look at this. It takes off. They don't have the high. The high was around 16 and change. For some reason, it's not showing this chart. But in that very short period of time, it just had a blow off top, came down, came back up, faked everybody out, faked me out like I thought I was going to go back up again. And then it had a steady decline. And, I was picking Theta back up in the 60-cent range over the past year plus, 64, 66-cent range. Then it had a little fake out again here in 2024 when Bitcoin went back up, back down, and now it's working its way back up. Don't know whether it gets to all-time highs again, but it may. But this is a chart you want to look at. So if we go back to Bitcoin here, and we go back to the 5 years, so now Bitcoin has started its move and went up here. In 2024, had a really good increase, and this was from the ETF, right, which came out in January, I believe, of 2024, and started to move everything up. Then it chopped, went sideways, bad news going on, chopping sideways, just sitting, and then boom, the election, and it skyrockets. Now, there's got to be some kind of correction because this is the largest jump it has ever had in recent history here. So there's got to be some corrections here. And as it goes down, it's not necessarily a bad thing if you're in altcoins. This is when you want to maybe shift some of your Bitcoin to altcoins because the altcoins will exponentially outpace it at this point. Now, I don't know when that is because Bitcoin, I feel, is like going to correct a little bit and then push back up over 100,000. I do feel it's going to go over 100,000 before the end of the year, before January, sometime during December, maybe in between Christmas and New Year's, we will see, maybe earlier. But when that pushes again, that might pull some altcoins back a little bit because it's going to pull some of the liquidity out of the altcoins back into Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin will trend back downward. And then altcoins will trend really high upward, potentially after January when the new administration goes in. That is definitely something that could play out. That's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm not 100% certain yet, but right now, at least for the next couple of months, next 6 to 8 weeks, things look very good. Things are bullish. And yeah, we'll have some pullback, some corrections. Maybe there's even a chance Bitcoin could pull back into the 80s. Don't panic if it does that. You'll see some altcoins still popping. And they're all running at different times. But here's what you can't do. You can't fuck up and round trip your bags. Don't do what I did where your portfolio goes from over a million, well over a million to down, you lose 80 to 90% of your value. I think Bitcoin lost around 78%. That was heavy Bitcoin, but my altcoins, a lot of them lost 90 to 95% of their value. So for me, just waiting for them to come back up. I'm at good exit points if I want to right now, but I'm anticipating them going a bit higher. So I'm going to just nudge my exit points up just a little bit higher. And what I may end up doing is on my first sale, instead of doing that 33%, maybe I take 35 or even 38% just to make sure I ensure those profits, because you could get to your target price 1 and then your target price 2, but never make the third target price. And that means you're still holding a pretty substantial bag. But if you took those profits in the first 2, you're doing okay. And we'll see. This is going to be kind of a feel thing and what I see going on as far as the economy, as far as what's going on with cryptos, what the feel of the rest of the world is towards cryptos, the US, etc. What kind of adoption goes on. Do nation states start buying Bitcoin? Do companies like Microsoft, who Michael Saylor from MicroStrategy is trying to get Microsoft to buy, trying to get Apple to buy Bitcoin and hold because they have such high cash holdings. So we'll see if that starts to happen. You're going to really see Bitcoin take off again a bit further and just continue to run. And then that may hold some altcoins down, but other altcoins will run with it, right? So if you look at some of them that are running right now, Sui ran. Let's look at Sui here over the past month. So it's had a really nice run up, chop sideways good here for a little while, and now it's starting to run up again, getting towards its next target somewhere between $4 and $5. Should reach over 10, could get as high as 15 or 16 this cycle, maybe even 20. It's really one of the darlings of the cycle, Solana and Sui, 2 of the really layer 1 darlings, and I anticipate it's going to continue here for a little bit. I mean, obviously over the month, it's up almost 100%. Over the last 6 months, it's almost 2.5 times up, and year to date, it's almost 4 times what it was. Luckily, I started buying this under $1, and it is now $3.78, so it's doing very solidly. But it's going to ebb and flow, and certain things move up a lot, and certain things don't. If you look at let's look at the month for Bitcoin Cash. It's kind of chopped sideways, had a couple of chops up, but nothing crazy. Solana has been one that has really been slow over the past month. It's only up 34%, where everything else is up well more. You go to some of the biggest movers, obviously XRP's one is correcting, pulling back nicely. This is healthy. This is okay. You want this. Over last week, it's up 75%. Over the past month, it's almost 4 times up. So you look at this. This is a healthy pullback. It's going to push up again into that $4, maybe even $5 range over the next couple of months here, sometime by probably January, maybe even February, maybe sooner. You saw how fast theta went up when I showed you on that other chart. XRP could do the same thing. It could way outpace what I think it's going to do. We'll see. The XRP army is strong, and they will push it up. And then once you get more retail coming in, it's just going to continue the buy up. And then when you hit your price points, stay true to them as much as you can. And maybe that last one, you save that last third until it gets to a little bit higher price. You see a pullback, maybe that's when you sell and make sure you're trying to capture as much profit as possible. But there's a lot of these that ever have had that quick run. And if you look at, what is this, XLM here, it's chopping sideways, but it was up huge. Look at this meteoric run up. So over the past month, if you go right before the election here, which is here, it was under 10 cents. And then it went to 50 plus cents. So I was 5 times very quickly, chopping sideways, pulling back, but still with that upward trend. It's getting higher lows, but not the higher highs. So this one is a little bit more limited than XRP. XLM and XRP do run together, but XRP is probably the stronger one that you want to really look at. Now, what hasn't run? This is one I'm looking at, and one I've owned for a while. Ton, look, it's only up not even 8% a week, only up 34.5% on a month. And last 6 months is down 9%, largely because the owner was arrested fraudulently by France because they didn't like that he didn't want to control the social media Telegram, because this is Telegram. It's the only way to own Telegram because it's a privately held company, is to own Toncoin. But year to date, it's still up almost twofold. And it's one I really, really like. When the market was down, this was almost like a stable coin. So strong. And you look at it all time, it's up pretty solidly here. It's one I like long term, but it hasn't moved yet. So maybe now is a great time to get into it. Let's look at some, or talk about some of them that haven't moved and have just started to move. So if you look over the past week, here we go. Last week, it's really started to jump up, right? If you look at the month, it's been more recent. Right? It didn't jump up with the election crazy, right? It chopped sideways, a nice, slow, steady one. But now Chainlink, which is one of the old ones, it's an Oracle. It's a strong one. It's a good one, going over $100 a cycle, maybe to 120, 150, somewhere in that range. And it's only at $23.93, $24 right now. It's a good buy. I think that's another one that's a good timing buy right now. I think Solana is a good timing buy right now. This could reach $1,000 a cycle, at least 750, and it's only 223 right now. So this is a good time to buy this one here. So what you want to look at right now is those tokens that have been around, that are in the top 20, top 100, really focus on those that have been around, that haven't had that big move up yet. You know, we've had some have some massive move ups. Like I talked about this one a week or so ago, HBAR. Look what it has done. Look at in the last month, it is going up 6x. If you go to the election here, let's go to 1 month, get to the election time frame. It didn't move, right? It was still 5 cents. That's most of my entry points, 4 or 5 cents on this one. Then it started to go up, made a nice move, corrected, came back nicely up again, then traded sideways. The sideways trading is great up. It's making new higher highs and higher lows. And that's one of the things you're looking at here. And now it's taking off. And why is Hedera Hashgraph taking off HBAR? Because there's potential. It is not regular blockchain technology. It's Hashgraph. It's hashing technology. It's different. There's potential. I believe they have a partnership with SpaceX. There's potential partnership with XRP and HBAR. So this one I still feel is undervalued. It still could get to $1 this cycle, but likely 75 to 95, somewhere in that range. But it could exceed $1. And you're looking at here, you could triple your bag still on this one. So definitely a strong one to look at. Doge has obviously had hit its day here, and it's going up nicely since the election, in large part to Elon Musk, trading sideways nicely here. Now it should continue its trend up and reach somewhere around $1, maybe $2, probably somewhere between $1 and $1.25, $1 and $1.50 range. But every time Doge comes in the news, like when the new administration takes place and Elon Musk is involved, and Vivek for the Department of Government Efficiency, hopefully this will get bumps every single time that's talked about there. SHIB hasn't run yet. Let's look at SHIB, Shiba Inu here. It's only up 13.7%. It has not jumped up much. Only in 1 month, it's up 61%, which is okay. Your date is up pretty good, but it hasn't run like the other ones. So now might still be a good time for SHIB, whereas Render has had a nice jump up over the past month. Pretty good one, but not super strong. Trading sideways getting stronger. It's one I'm very bullish on long term. Good time still to buy for me, entry point. Not financial wise, but this is a good time for me. I'm still buying entry point wise into Render. What else looks good? I'm always bullish on Matic. I think that's going to go to a couple dollars this cycle, maybe 3, 4. Very good, strong one. And I want to go to one that I feel could be very good, Kava. It has not moved a whole lot. It's up 100% a month, right? It's doubled from the month, but has not been crazy, one of these crazy movers, and has corrected back nicely. So I do feel like it's a good time to be buying Kava. Look at this. This is such a great chart, just slow and steady up. A nice little correction here, and maybe buy back in. And year to date is still down. So this is one I like a lot. Its all-time high is 920. I can see it easily getting close to that, maybe 8, maybe 10, somewhere in that range. So 920, it could reach its all-time high again, and it's a good entry point. There's other tokens that have just started running like Gala. I'm bullish on Gala. Gala is a good long-term one. It's a gaming crypto, and it's one I think will continue to grow and be good. It's around 5 cents. Let's see if I have that. I can pull that up here. Definitely one I'm bullish on long term. Some of the gamings, because the games haven't run yet. They will eventually run, but they have not run up yet. So here we go. Gala, it's 5 cents right now. Up in a week, it's up solidly this week. It's really started to run. And a month, it's up very solidly as well. But the all-time high on this is, I think, close to $1. Yep, 87 cents roughly. I could easily see this getting up to 25, 50 cents this cycle, somewhere in that range. So if you get to 25, you're 5 times and you're 5xing your gains on that. If you get to 50, you're 10xing. So good potential in this one. Could it reach its all-time high? It could even go above and beyond that. We will see. It depends how many good games, and this also has an NFT platform, how much that grows. It has potential. It definitely has potential. There's a lot of them out here that have potential. Internet Computer, I really like a lot. Arweave, I like a lot. Avalanche is a good long-term one. Ethereum has barely started moving, and Litecoin have barely started moving. So they're good ones to be in right now if you're going to shift from Bitcoin. But you're going to get a 3x in those, maybe a 4x. You're not going to get as much as you'll get in some of these others where Link, you could potentially get a 5 to 8 to 10x in Chainlink. Sui could go to $15 and you could get a 5x here or 4x here. So there's other ones that you could be in that will do pretty well. Theta, I still feel it's going to go to 10 to 15 this cycle. It may not get to its all-time high, but it could. We'll see. And here's a difficult one to get. I think you can only get it on KuCoin, or you might have to swap. But Persistence is a good long-term play. They have just developed something with Bitcoin. Let's see. There's news on this. Let's look at that real quick. So they're doing a beta test launch on partnering with Bitcoin here. Let's see. It's allowing users to try Bitcoin cross-chain swaps, right? So if this is successful, if this works, this could really push Persistence up. It really could. It's enough to make it potentially skyrocket when you look at it here. Definitely one I'm bullish on. Supercharge. Oops. Yeah, we don't want that. Let's go back to it here. So, but if you look at Persistence, I think its all-time high is 1650 here. That's crazy. Could it get there? It could. Look, if this works with Bitcoin, this could break its all-time high. It could get to $15, $20, somewhere in that range, maybe 25. And it's 18 cents. This is one you don't throw a lot on. It's a higher risk one, but it's a good one to gamble on if you want to look for a huge return. This is potentially, 100, 200x return on your money here at only 19 cents. Again, you got to get it on KuCoin. Not an easy one to get, or you got to do a swap, a Uniswap or Pancake Swap. Utilize them. Those are other options for you. Cardano, looking solid. If you look at over the past month, it's up 2.5 times. So year to date, it's up just over 100% because it did have a run up last year. So there's some really good ones to look at. TIA is another good one. Aave has not had a big run up yet. Like I said, Ethereum and Litecoin have not had big run ups yet. Now, Litecoin, I think its all-time high was around $413, if I recall. Let's see. Yep, 413. It's the all-time high. It's going to exceed that, I think, this cycle. I think it's going to get up to 450, maybe 550, maybe potential 650. But I think it's going to break its all-time high. It is not as popular as it was before, but still a very good crypto. And it was made by Charlie Lee, and Charlie Lee made it to be Bitcoin to be gold, Litecoin to be silver. Litecoin's quicker, faster, cheaper for transactions. So transactionally, this could be excellent. And, the supply is limited here as well. I think it's what, 75, the total supply is 84 million. And that's how I came up with silver compared to gold. So again, you got a limited supply. Something has a limited supply, like Bitcoin. I'm bullish on this. Now, what could change the narrative on certain coins and make them go above and beyond what they normally would? Well, if you go to Doge, there's talk of Doge having its own ETF. And if it does, you're probably looking at 250. XRP will probably be getting its own ETF. And if that does, you're looking at 10, potentially 12, 15, as not out of the realm of possibility. At least 10 would be my guess if that happens. Let's go to look at the market caps here, because XRP flipped Tether and it flipped Solana with its recent run up. It is now the number 3 crypto out there. There's a chance, if it gets its own ETF and it's much more popular than Ethereum, it could flip Ethereum. There's a possibility of it flipping Ethereum. Now, it'd be difficult this cycle, but it could. If not, next cycle, I totally expect Ethereum to continue down this list. I expect Solana to flip it. I expect others to flip it. Doge could even flip it. Cardano could flip it. Like I said, $1.21 for Cardano to me is a screaming buy. Consider what I think it's going to do longer term. At least 5, maybe 7, 8, 9, $10 a cycle. It's very similar to XRP, but XRP already had a big run up, whereas Cardano has not yet. And again, Avalanche hasn't either. Avalanche is another good one. But you see these, if you stick in these top 20, Polkadot, another one that hasn't run. Cosmos, those are 2 ecosystems, huge darlings last cycle. Not this cycle, but they will become more darlings again. And I do expect Polkadot to break its all-time high, $65, $75 easily. I believe it could get to this cycle. Definitely strong ones you want to hang on to. Let's look at Polkadot and let's look at the all-time high. 56, definitely 65, 75, 85. I do feel it's going to get there. It's a strong one. Cosmos is another strong one, which is Adam here. Its all-time high is 44, just under 45. I expect it to beat that. I expect it to be over 50. So if you look at now, you could 5X your bag with Cosmos. So these are ones that still haven't run yet. Important to know, very important is to remember for you guys is don't fuck this up. Don't round trip your bags. Don't lose 80, 90, 95% of the value and have to wait 3.5 years for the next cycle to come. Now, I don't feel it would be that long for the next cycle. This next cycle might be a little bit quicker because you have a very crypto-friendly administration, more ETFs coming into play. There's talks of banks getting involved. And once you have banks that could custody cryptos, then really it opens up to a whole different group of buyers that you didn't have before. Parents, grandparents, people who aren't comfortable holding their own cryptos, but are very comfortable with the old financial system, the banking system, holding it for them. But make no bones about it, we're definitely transferring to a new financial system. It's all going to be blockchain based. Everything will be blockchain based. Everything is going to be based off the blockchain. Our identities are going to be held in the blockchain. The KYC, the know your customer, everything is going to be stored and held on a blockchain. Your value, things are become NFTs, like even this phone will become an NFT. All the cryptos are obviously going to be NFTs. Everything you buy and purchase and hold and own is going to be an NFT. Your vehicle. Now, this is 10 years down the road, but that's where we're headed with blockchain technology. And something that I really wanted, I thought that what the best use case for blockchain technology is in our voting system. You want to get rid of fraud almost completely, blockchain technology. And thankfully, I'm hearing that Charles Hoskinson, Cardano, is getting involved with this, with the Trump administration, to create blockchain voting system. This is not hard to do. This is very simple. KYC, know your customer. You got identities. You got your digital identity. You're going to have to prove it when you go to vote. You have to show your digital identity. And if things don't match, you can't vote. Guess what? If you died, you come off that blockchain, you come off the logs. Instead of dead people voting, which happens right now, you're going to get rid of that. You're going to eliminate so much of this fraud. Tremendous use case, not just federally, but statewide, local elections, all these things. They can all have their own blockchains. What else could it be used for? You could store your deed to your home on a blockchain, the title to your car on a blockchain. All these different things are going to be used for blockchain or in the blockchain. Title companies, it'll be much simpler for them just going through the blockchain than rather than going through county records, which have incorrect data. It's going to make things more less errors. Let's just put it this way. There'll be less errors. And in our medical system, you could eliminate and reduce, not eliminate, you could reduce the amount of medical malpractice and reduce errors by doctors by having a personal blockchain. This is your own personal health blockchain, has all your history in it. For them to be able to look at that and see everything and not have to go from doctor to doctor to doctor to find this, it's one of the greatest use cases. So blockchain technology is going to help in so many ways over the next couple of decades here. That's almost unfathomable how much things are going to change with this. But right now, it's the cryptos. They're the things that are using blockchain, and other things will. So don't round trip your bags. Don't fuck it up. Like I've done, like other guys who follow a lot of guys on YouTube out there who have been in through multiple cycles in cryptos, and they've all round tripped them. We've all made that commitment to make sure we don't do that this cycle, because we got this cycle, next cycle to be strong cycles. After that, the crypto market might become more like the stock market 2.0, just not big ups, not as big downs, more boring. I don't personally like that. I like the Wild Wild West, but you just got to be smart. Remember this. This is the most important thing I tell you. 95% of people lose their money in crypto. And it's because they don't dollar cost average out. Dollar cost average in, but they're not dollar cost averaging out. So make sure you do that. Set your sell points and don't round trip your bags. All right, guys, that's the end of this live stream. I will catch you on the next one.